Just ahead on Health News Update, the serious disease that doctors are seeing among younger adults and the warning signs many people miss. New research raises questions about a possible link between a popular birth control and brain tumors, and a promising breakthrough in breast cancer research that could one day help prevent the disease. Those stories and more medical and research headlines coming up next on Health News Update. Hi, I'm Miranda Kahn with your Health News Update, where we bring you the latest in medical research from scientific journals and leading research institutions. Have you or someone you know been feeling just completely wiped out lately, or maybe dealing with unexplained weight loss, changes in bowel habits, or even blood in the stool? Well, doctors say a lot of people are just explaining these things away, and it's part of an alarming trend they're seeing more and more. According to the American Cancer Society, cases of colon and rectal cancer in adults under the age of 50 are climbing, up about 2% each year. And here's the part that really stands out. Nearly 1 in 5 colorectal cancer diagnoses now happens before the age of 55. Doctors at the Mayo Clinic say when these cancers are caught early, survival rates can be well over 90%. But when people wait too long to get checked, those odds drop fast. That's why most adults are now being advised to start screening at the age of 45 and even sooner if you have risk factors. Doctors say trust your gut, literally. If something doesn't feel right, don't brush it off and don't put it off. Get checked. And while doctors are urging people not to ignore changes in their health, new research is also sparking important conversation about women's health. A popular form of birth control that's been around for decades and used by millions of women worldwide is making headlines again for its possible link to brain tumors. A new study published in JAMA Neurology found women who used the birth control shot known as Depo-Provera were more likely to be diagnosed with a brain tumor. The risk appeared higher with long-term use or for women who started the shot later in life. Doctors say most of these tumors are slow-growing and non-cancerous, but the findings are sparking important conversations about long-term hormone use. Experts stress the overall risk is still low, but if you use this method or are considering it, they say it's worth talking with your doctor about your options. From long-standing birth control options to a possible shift in who bears that responsibility. For more than 60 years, women have had the pill, but for men, nothing. After all this time, you might wonder, why is there no male version? Well, that may finally change. Researchers with the Population Council and the National Institute of Child Health and Human Development are testing a hormonal gel that lowered sperm counts in nearly 90% of men. Others are developing a non-hormonal pill that temporarily blocks sperm production. So far, researchers say no major safety issues have been reported. Experts say a reliable male birth control option could be just a few years away. And as science continues to push medicine forward, experts are also taking a closer look at how everyday habits affect us over time. Remember when a couple of drinks didn't slow you down the next day? Experts say if that's changed, it's not just you, it's your body. Doctors from the University of Chicago Medicine and Johns Hopkins say as we age, our bodies process alcohol differently. Liver enzymes become less efficient, muscle mass decreases, and alcohol stays in the body longer, making the same drink feel stronger than it used to in the past. And for women in perimenopause, alcohol can also worsen anxiety, mood changes, and lead to poor sleep. Experts warn the health risk of drinking increase with age, including cancer, memory problems, and falls. Experts say cutting back even a little can lead to better sleep, less next-day anxiety, and long-term health benefits. And for some people, alcohol is just one piece of a much bigger health picture, especially for those taking newer medications that act on the brain. You probably heard a lot about weight loss and diabetes drugs lately, but they may also be opening the door to a very different kind of treatment. So researchers at the Yale School of Medicine say GLP-1 medications may help take some of the strain off the liver when people drink. What really caught scientists' attention is what these drugs may be doing to the brain. Research highlighted by the Endocrine Society suggests GLP-1 medications may dull the brain's reward response, making alcohol feel less appealing and reducing cravings. At the same time, the drug can slow how the body processes alcohol, meaning people may feel its effects longer. Doctors say this could one day change how alcohol use disorder is treated, and they urge anyone taking these medications to be sure and talk with a healthcare provider about alcohol use. Speaking of GLP-1 weight loss drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy, not everyone qualifies for a prescription, and that's leading some people to turn to over-the-counter alternatives. The problem? Many of those supplements may not be as safe as they sound.
The problem with supplements is that they are not standardized. And so, if we look at the medications, those medications have been rigorously tested in multiple randomized controlled trials in large cohorts of patients. So, what that means is this has been tried on multiple patients before it has been deemed safe to be used to help our patients.
Over the counter weight loss supplements don't need FDA approval, which means just about anything can be added. Another concern is how these products may interact with other medications, including life saving drugs. Doctors say if you're taking a weight loss supplement, make sure your physician knows. They can help you find safer, proven options without putting your health at risk. Now to research that could one day change the future of cancer care and offer new hope to millions. Breast cancer touches so many families. In fact, according to the American Cancer Society, about 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with it in her lifetime. Researchers are now studying a vaccine that may one day help reduce that risk and possibly prevent breast cancer altogether.
74%. So about three-quarters of these patients develop an immune response, which we defined ahead of time. So we have identified a dose and the fact that it produces an immune response. Now, whether this immune response will translate into reducing the risk of recurrence or preventing breast cancer, reducing the risk of breast cancer, we don't know that yet from this trial.
Dr. Thomas Budd is leading the research. He says this first phase focused on triple negative breast cancer, an aggressive form of the disease that tends to grow and spread more quickly and has fewer treatment options. In this initial trial, 35 people took part, all of whom either had triple negative breast cancer or were considered at high risk for developing it. The goal at this stage was simple but critical, to see if the vaccine was safe and whether the body would respond. What researchers saw was encouraging. Nearly three-quarters of participants developed an immune response after receiving the vaccine. Just as important, the vaccine was well tolerated. Most side effects were mild, mainly some redness or irritation at the injection site. With those early results in hand, researchers say they're ready to take the next step.
The phase 2 trials will be the first look at, does it do what we want it to do? Does it reduce the risk of the cancer coming back in patients who have breast cancer? And in future trials, perhaps be able to look at whether it can prevent breast cancer in patients who are at very high risk for it.
Researchers say the next phase of the trial could begin late this year and last 2 to 3 years. Next, they're annoying and sometimes very dangerous. We're talking about mosquitoes. Coming up on Health News Update, our expert talks about how to make yourself less attractive to them. We'll be right back.
You're watching Health News Update, where we bring you the latest headlines from scientific journals and research institutions, medical breakthroughs, lifestyle tips, one-on-one interviews. You'll find it all on Health News Update.
Don't you just hate mosquitoes? I mean, their bites itch or bleed, and sometimes they carry severe diseases. Ugh. But there are ways to make yourself less attractive to those pesky flying insects. Joining us today is Dr. Sammy Ramsey, Endowed Assistant Professor of Entomology at the University of Colorado in Boulder. Dr. Ramsey, why are mosquitoes so attracted to humans? And it seems that, in my opinion, they're more attracted to some people than others, myself included. Why?
That is a great question, and it's one of these questions that I think humanity has had for ages. Mosquitoes have bedeviled humans, and we've really wanted to figure out why some people are more attractive and other people aren't. And if we can crack that code, maybe we can do something about them.
Yeah, so what can we do to make us less mosquito friendly, please?
Well, there are a few things that we can do, and some of them are actually pretty easy. One of the most surprisingly easy things is to actually run a fan. If you're running a fan even outdoors, it can blow away a lot of the chemical cues that the mosquitoes use to detect human beings. So, the carbon dioxide from your breath, the volatiles that are around your skin, all of that can be blown into a column of air that is going to get it away from your body in a lot of ways. That is helpful for keeping mosquitoes away from you. And the column of air that's being blown, it makes it very difficult for the mosquitoes to land on you because they're not the best flyers in the world. And so that's actually a pretty simple way that you can avoid mosquitoes.
All right, love that. I'm gonna get myself a fan. Okay, read a fan. Anything else?
Another really simple trick to avoiding mosquitoes without any usage of chemicals is to really consider that mosquitoes, they are they're using a number of different chemical cues to find their way to you. And sometimes it's very hard to get away from them. And so one of the best things is knowing their behavior. A lot of mosquitoes, it's very, very, very important to them. They have a schedule. And so they are around in the morning, they are around in the evening, like right at that twilight period. And so if you avoid their primary times, like the circumstances where they are most abundant, you can avoid a lot of mosquito bites. So not being outside in the early morning or when the sun is going down is one way to avoid them as well, just avoiding their schedule. Although that's harder now that we have the invasive species, the Asian tiger mosquito, which loves to bite midday. So that part's a little
Uh,
tough.
Okay, wow. Asian tiger mosquitoes? Yuck. So I guess the best idea is to just stay inside, right? But you can't always hide from mosquitoes. So what then?
If you have to be outside in the mosquito's turf when they're most active, one of the best things that you can do is wear an effective mosquito repellent. DEET, picaridin, oil of lemon eucalyptus, all of those are effective options for diminishing the mosquito's ability to find you. The most effective of them, really the gold standard, if you will, is DEET. I know that that one sounds scary. A lot of people equate it with DDT, which is a totally different chemical. But DEET is very effective and it's effective for long periods of time. So it's a really, really, really good one to utilize because you don't have to consistently apply it over and over. The drawback is that it can cause skin irritation, and the higher concentrations have this tendency, this nasty tendency to melt plastics. So if you have a plasticky jacket or something that you're wearing, you probably don't want to use that one. But picaridin is similarly effective and doesn't have those issues. And lemon of oil eucalyptus can be pretty effective as well. It just doesn't last as long as DEET.
Okay, so Dr. Ramsey, what about young children? Any special concerns for them?
Yeah, I worry about the little kiddos out here because I'm not sure that enough people are aware that little kids are not just very attractive to mosquitoes, and they are. Oftentimes, those little bodies have a faster metabolism and are releasing a lot more heat based on the size of that person's body into the environment. But then in addition to that, their skin is a bit thinner than ours. So that means that it's easier for the mosquito to bite through using that system of needles that all form its mouth parts. They can bite through more quickly. And for a lot of people, when they feel that a mosquito is starting to pierce through their skin, some people are able to even subconsciously brush them away. But when a child's skin is thinner, it's easier for the mosquito to get through, get in, get what they need, and get out quickly enough that they're probably not going to be brushed off. And so that means that little kids are actually more susceptible to mosquito borne illnesses because they are both very attractive to mosquitoes and easier to go after.
Well, that's pretty scary. So it's more important than ever then to use an effective repellent, right?
We encourage people more towards the longer lasting repellents. Things like DEET, which disrupt the olfactory ability of the mosquitoes, their capacity to smell you, and the mosquitoes just hate the taste of it. They actually taste when they land. Their feet have taste receptors on them. So when they land on skin that's been coated with DEET, it also really, really, they just don't like it. So they'll fly away from that as well. Picaridin, lemon oil of eucalyptus, like these are effective and as the ones that I've named, they go down the scale of how long they remain on your skin. Things like citronella, they're just not effective for very long. They smell nice, and they're fun to use. They definitely smell better than DEET, but it's not your best option. Let me tell you, it's not your best option.
Well, we do want to mention that the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends that parents use DEET repellent sparingly on children under the age of 2. So again, we just want to keep that in mind for everyone. But we really appreciate you giving us this great advice. Thank you so much, Dr. Ramsey. It was great to talk to you.
Thank you very much. Please do let me know whatever entomological subjects you happen to have on your mind. I'm an equal opportunity entomologist and would love to help.
And we will love to bug you. That's great, Dr. Ramsey. We look forward to having you back. And that's all the time we have today. Thank you for watching Health News Update, where we bring you the latest from scientific journals and research institutions. I'm Miranda Khan. I'll see you next time.